The big news today, it turns out that, you don't always get a pass in life. Imagine that, Hunter Biden. Just because your dad's the president doesn't mean everybody's going to sign off on your plea deal. This plea deal, from the very beginning, I told you it was totally nuts. I mean, look, I'm not a lawyer, but I know enough about business. I know enough about taxes. I know enough about the IRS to know that, you know what, if you're trying to get away with skirting some, reported $1.7 million worth of taxes that you should have paid, you know what? You're going to have problems. Everybody else has problems. I mean, there's a guy in New Jersey, the Wall Street Journal just reported on this. In New Jersey, he had like a Linden auto shop. And guess what? He just got a year and a day in jail for exactly what they were going after Hunter Biden for. So why would Hunter Biden, if he was, cooking the books, so to speak, and not paying his federal income taxes, why would he just get a little slap on the wrist? And by the way, why was that whole gun charge put in there as well? Kind of confusing, right? Well, the judge admitted that. She's like, why is it that there are these two things sandwiched together? And she said, look, I need more time. I need to review this. We're very happy that she said that, and she's willing to do that because it gives you a little bit more faith in the system. I'll tell you, when you're getting the what kicked out of you in terms of your faith in the system, the trust deficit is so significant in this country right now in terms of how we think about our media, how we think about the White House, how we think about everybody in Congress. It's important to know that maybe a few judges actually want to get their facts straight before signing off on something. So look, Hunter Biden is a disaster. I feel very sorry for the president that is his son. I don't know quite how he was raised, but, I'm sure everybody wishes the outcome was different. But it doesn't change the fact that the guy has been making oodles of money. I mean, a lot of money, right? Like $60,000 a month he was getting for sitting on the board of an energy company in Ukraine, Burisma, natural gas company. He knew nothing about the natural gas industry. What was he really trading on there? One has to wonder. What is he trading on, by the way, with all this art? Those questions are coming up in a massive way. We have details on them because one woman in particular who bought some of this art wound up with a nifty appointment, a commission appointment. I mean, is this in fact pay to play? That's what Republicans are trying to get to the bottom of. And I want to be careful in terms of our allegations. We always want to be careful. But listen, this doesn't really look good. I mean, this is a kid. He's older than me. This is a guy who doesn't have a whole lot of talent, who has had repeated run-ins with drug issues, who, by the way, became a subject of an investigation because the IRS was looking into an international amateur pornography ring. I mean, that's how they came to Hunter. Think about that in and of itself, right? I don't even like having to say these words. It's so, ugh. And so the IRS started investigating for that reason and then came up with, oh my gosh, maybe he didn't reportedly pay taxes on some, they're estimating some $17.5 million worth of income. How does this guy have that much income? I mean, they've got to prove it all, right? And that's a big part of what's going on right now. The House Oversight Committee is like, oh, yeah, he has all this income because it's coming from China and it's coming from Ukraine. And they're making a lot of accusations. But let's get back to just the facts in the case right now, which is that you have whistleblowers that came forward from the IRS, Gary Shapley being one of them, saying, hey, you know what? This is not normal. Normally, you would go through a certain course of action. But David Weiss, the attorney who interestingly was kept on from the Trump administration because they wanted to look A-OK, he was not allowed, according to Shapley, to pursue these charges because Merrick Garland was in the way. So if that's the case, what's really happening? And isn't it kind of important that this judge, this U.S. district judge, not just fold, but say, hey, wait a second. We need to have some more information here because Mary Ellen Norica, that's her name, U.S. District Judge, is saying, why are these things all together? And this is sort of highly unusual. And I need more time and I need more information. I'm not going to sign off on this. So the plea deal, the little slap on the wrist, could turn into something more. And this may mean he's not off the hook in terms of justifying whatever else was going on with China and with Ukraine. I mean, we know about the board position. We know, of course, about some text messages, and I'm going to share that with you, which suggest, daddy might have known a little bit more than he's letting on. The White House is changing its tune on that. We're going to get to that too. But really and truly, I think that you got to be asking some questions here. I mean, hey, let's be honest. If this were a Republican kid, there would be all kinds of questions being asked right now as we speak, right? That's just kind of how it works. The semantics, interestingly enough, have changed in recent days over at the White House because, in the past, Karine Jean-Pierre, who's the spokesperson there, she's not necessarily the best. I think we all know that. She's a sweet lady. In fact, she used to come on my show on Fox quite a bit. Because, she was liberal and she was willing to come on. It wasn't always easy to get liberals to come on. But she never could defend her arguments. She just never, ever, ever, ever. And that was like the one thing I would feel bad because she was sweet and she was attractive and she had a lovely voice and she was a Democrat. And I was happy. Listen, I enjoy being able to talk to all sides. So I appreciate her coming on, but it's like, come on. Don't you have something better to say? Can't you emphasize and articulate your point a little bit better? Because, it's not really fair up against me, right? So I do not think that she's really the right person for that job. It's a tough job. Sometimes you have to kind of, dance around the issues. And Peppermint Patty was kind of good at this, being able to kind of outsmart the reporters. They're asking this and you have to kind of change the question and make it that. Anyway, poor Karine Jean-Pierre was asked some questions about why they're changing their tune. In other words, in the old days, just a few weeks ago, the White House was saying Joe Biden, the president, knew nothing about his son's business, nothing about his endeavors, had nothing to do with it. But of course, now that's coming into question in part because of this. Take a peek. This is the text. This is the smoking gun text in which Hunter Biden wrote to an associate, somebody who was working with in China, who just happened to be, by the way, friends with the head of intelligence gathering in China. He said, sitting here with my father, and we would like to understand why the commitment has not been fulfilled. He's talking about money. Tell the director that I would like this resolved right now before it gets out of hand, and now means tonight. And see, if I get a call or text from anyone involved in this other than Yu Zhang or the chairman, I will make certain that between the man sitting next to me and my ability to hold a grudge forever, that you will regret not following my direction. Okay, so that kind of seems a little much. Anyway, Karine Jean-Pierre is getting asked about this change in tune because it used to be, okay, the president didn't have anything to do with his son's business. Now she's saying something a little bit different, a little bit nuanced. Listen carefully to this audio of the reporter asking why there is this change in language to not having anything to do with it, to not knowing anything about it. Interesting. Watch.
Months ago, you said that nothing has changed when you were asked about the president's previous remarks on his son's business dealings, but the language has in fact changed. So I just want to clear this up once and for all. The president has previously said that he has never discussed overseas business dealings with his son, but the White House now says that the president has never been in business with his son. So why the updated language? Which statement is true? Or is this semantics and they're both true?
As I stated on Monday, when I was asked this question multiple times, nothing has changed. Nothing has changed on this. Nothing has changed on this. And so could ask me a million different ways on this question. Nothing has changed.
Yeah, except now everything's kind of falling apart right there in your face, including that plea deal that Hunter was supposed to get. When most people, if they were to just not pay their taxes, would actually wind up in jail. Remember Leona Helmsley? Famous case. She wasn't declaring all her income. Look, you don't mess with the IRS, all right? There's a few things that you need to know about. Hunter Biden, I'm sorry, your dad's in the federal government. Your dad was a senator for how many years? A zillion, okay? You should know this. You should know better. Your dad is going on to be the president of the United States. But no, not only do you not know better, you continue, Hunter Biden, to kind of flaunt it in our faces because I'm sorry, look, maybe I'm not enough of an art aficionado to appreciate exactly why some of these paintings by Hunter Biden would be going for $1.3 million or $875,000, or why prints would be going for $75,000 each. Art is very subjective, of course, so a perfect lane, right? If you want to actually move some money around. Sorry, it's just an amazing career choice and sudden shift in his career. And interesting that one of the people that was buying his art, actually, her name is Elizabeth Nafali. She actually wound up going to the White House repeatedly and then got like a big commission to help restore America's historical position overseas. This is also something that Karine Jean-Pierre was asked about in today's session. Hear her response.
Elizabeth Naftali, she's made more than a dozen visits here to the White House and met with some of the president's most senior advisors. Can you tell us a little bit more about those visits, why she was here?
I would have to look into that. I've not been tracking these visits that you're mentioning to me.
No, you may not be tracking them, but you know what? Some people are. Some people aren't, including The Real Deal, which is a real estate publication, a blog, and they're writing about it right now, saying that, there's this LA real estate investor who was going back and forth to the White House and actually purchased some of Hunter's art. So it's one thing to have the whole pay to play allegation from 2018 before he was president of the United States, the dad. It's another thing when you start talking about whether or not there's anything at all for sale in the here and now, which is what these allegations or questions are now bringing up. Elizabeth Naftali. I mean, spending money on Hunter's art, getting a big plum commission position. I mean, come on. Hey everyone, Trish Regan here. If you enjoyed that clip, please do me the favor of subscribing to the channel. Just hit that little subscribe button right over there. Did I do that right? Not quite, but you know where it is. Subscribe to the channel, hit the bell so that you get the alerts, and I'll see you back on the show.